Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So this is a follow-up to my video about the McClure twins' father. I think his name is Justin McClure. He's a white guy. He's married to a Nigerian woman. He has three biracial children. He has a set of twins and one son. So this man has come under fire because he put out some racist tweets a few years ago, and people are talking about those tweets and they're raising this issue. And in my last video where I talked about this issue, I wondered out loud whether or not these swirlers had anything to say about this situation. So today I was, surfing on YouTube to see what these swirlers had to say about it. And I came across an interview that Christelyn Karazin did with this guy, Justin McClure. And I just want to take out some time right now to provide a brief response to her interview with him. First of all, I'll say this: it was a pathetic interview. It wasn't really an interview. Basically, it was this woman defending this guy. She wasn't asking him any tough questions at all. She was there to defend him. She had him on her show to defend him and to defend her agenda. That's what that whole interview was all about. It wasn't a real interview. She did not ask him any tough questions. She gave him softball questions, and in fact, she actually tried to supplement his answers to the questions. And as I listened to that interview, the first thing I thought about was the black mammy. If you all are familiar with Gone with the Wind, where you had this obese black woman who was so subservient to these white people, sucking up to them, kissing ass, being a good slave, a good house Negro. Well, that's the role that this girl who swirls played. She basically played the role of the mammy who's looking after her white daddy, her white master. And that's basically what she did during this interview. She was defending this guy. And for those of you who don't remember what this guy had to say about black people, I'm going to summarize it as this, man. First of all, he made mockery of African-American names. He made mockery of black people, suggesting that black people are not intelligent. This man also made statements suggesting that black men are not considerate, that black men are uninformed, that black men are only concerned about lifting weights and listening to hip-hop and selling hip-hop mixtapes and stuff like that. This is what this man has promoted. He promoted the idea that black women are quote-unquote ghetto and all that kind of stuff. So this is a man who is married to an African woman who had no respect for black women at all. And the thing is, one of the things that comes out during this interview is that this guy said he had been dating interracially for years, even at the time when he was a comedian making all these derogatory statements about black women. So that's one thing. So that's some background. So this woman, instead of conducting an interview, what she did was defend this guy. She made excuses for what he had to say. She suggested that this is just what comedians do. Comedians make irreverent statements, so why are people getting upset about it? And this is a classic example of what I talked about in my video of the hypocrisy of these people, man. The hypocrisy of these swirlers. If a black man were to say anything derogatory about black women, these people would be marching with their torches out, quick to lynch that black man, quick to persecute that black man. But when it comes to Mr. Charlie, when it comes to this damn white man, the first thing that people like this woman do is defend them. They rally around them. They make excuses for them. And that's basically what this woman did. She tried to excuse it as just comedy. And then on top of that, this woman went on to say, well, I can say it, but you can't. I'll say it. I'll go ahead and say it. Black people do come up with these unusual names. They do, name their children, all these crazy names and stuff like that. So here you have a woman who's basically serving as a mouthpiece for white supremacy, saying the things that this white man cannot say, basically serving as a puppet for this guy. So, you know, she can defend him and say, well, yeah, in fact, black people do have these derogatory names. Even if you felt like some black women or some black people name their children, and, you know, poorly or whatever, there's a such thing as like etiquette. You know what I'm saying? There's a such thing as like family affairs. Like, you don't air your dirty laundry before the world. You don't air out your dirty laundry before somebody that has no respect for you or your community. This man, in all his statements, he was promoting all these negative stereotypes about black people. You know, the stereotype that black people are into Escalades and stuff like that. He was suggesting that black people don't know how to talk, like black people don't know how to say the word ask. This is a man who's making a mockery of black people, but yet you have this step-it, fetch-it mammy tap dancing, you know, putting on a damn coon show for this guy, defending him. She was taking on the role of the lawn jockey for this guy, this racist white man. You know, the lawn jockey that you see in front of homes back in the day with the black face, with their hand out like this in a subservient type of position. That was the position that this black woman allowed herself to be in. Defending this guy, man. Defending a damn racist. It seems to me that misogyny against black women only matters when the black man is the perpetrator. But when it comes to Mr. Charlie, when it comes to the damn white man, there are all kinds of excuses for it, all kinds of passes for it. And this thing is not just limited to Christelyn Karazin. I want you all to take time out and go read the comment section to her video. You will see all these Negro bed wenches over there coming up with all kinds of excuses to defend this guy. And while they make excuses for this guy, at the same time they're making excuses for this damn white racist, they're taking out time to talk about how bad and horrible the black man is. Just like Christelyn Karazin, while she was defending this guy, she wants to take out time to talk about how bad a Tariq Nasheed is, or how bad hip-hop music is for its depiction of black women and its treatment of black women, while she capes for this damn white racist, just like a good house mammy does. You know, that comment section is disgusting, man. The comment section where you have these Negro bed wenches going out of their way to defend this guy while they trash black men. These same black women who are defending this guy, unfortunately, are the same ones that were going to give the police a pass to kill that brother, Stephen Clark, just because of some tweets he put out years ago. They're going to give him a pass. And the thing that I noticed about Christelyn Karazin, her primary concern is about a man's ability to provide for his children. A white man's, let me correct that, a white man's ability to provide for his children, his biracial children. That was her primary concern. She didn't care nothing about these racist statements this guy made. The only thing that mattered to her was the fact that this guy was able to use social media to provide for his children and his wife. Never mind the racist statements he made. We're supposed to forget about all of that just because he happens to be married to this black woman right now and they have some cute twins. We're supposed to forget about the racism and all that kind of stuff. We're supposed to just think that all of a sudden this guy just is cured of any kind of racist attitudes, any kind of prejudice or bigotry and all that stuff. He's just magically cured of this stuff just because he married a woman from Nigeria. And then the fact of the matter is you got that woman, you know, his wife, co-signing this stuff, defending it, you know, suggesting that it's not racist at all for him to make all these stereotypical statements, suggesting that black men are inconsiderate, suggesting that black men are unintelligent, suggesting that black men are uninformed, that black men are only preoccupied with lifting weights and selling mixtapes. that black people can't pronounce the word ask, and that black people come up with crazy names for their children because black people have no sense. But that's not racist in the mind of that Nigerian woman. That's not racist in the mind of this Negro bedwench Christelyn Karazin, man. These people are so lost and so delusional, man. It's sickening. You know, and one thing that was sad, I mean, is the fact that this guy was talking about how much he, you know, how he made a mistake, like, you know, those statements were negative and this and that, and, you know, you know, not appropriate and stuff like that. While he was trying to, quote unquote, apologize, you had this Negro step it, fetch it, mammy, basically telling him, you don't have to apologize anymore. You don't have to apologize. You know, those statements are not that bad. It's just a part of being a comedian. You know, black people do, in fact, name their kids crazy names, coming up with all kinds of excuses. Tap dancing just like step it, fetch it. Tap dancing like Bojangles. Tap dancing. This woman might as well have had on some white gloves, some black face makeup with some bright red lipstick and one of those mammy rags on her head. The way she was cooning and tap dancing and just making a complete fool out of herself and out of her people, man. And the fact is, you know, the fact that you got so many black women supporting that nonsense tells you how lost some of our sisters are, man. These women are so lost because of their bitterness towards the black man that they have given passes to white racists, man. Making excuses for white racists. Man, it's a damn shame, man. And I saw that somebody, one of these other black women empowerment folks did a video. I haven't gotten around to her video yet. And if I have time, I'll check it out too, man. It's just crazy, man. Just the way some of our women think, man. Just how much they worship this white man. You know, this white man, she was defending this white man more than he was defending himself. And that reminded me of what Malcolm X said about how the house Negro loves the slave master more than the slave master loves himself. Here you had this guy trying to apologize, and that's another thing. I mean, he didn't apologize to black people. He didn't say, well, this was racist. In fact, he tried to say it had nothing to do with race, but we're supposed to believe that this is an apology. This guy said that, you know, it was all about him and his ego. It was because he was, you know, he had alcohol issues. Because he wanted some attention. This guy was making all kinds of excuses for his behavior instead of holding himself accountable. Instead of apologizing to black women in particular and black people in general. But that's fine. I mean, it was fine as far as she was concerned. I mean, he shouldn't even apologize at this point, man. It's so sickening, man.